Ninja 250, that's a beginner's bike. That thing is way too slow. You're going to outgrow it almost immediately. Don't even bother. I mean, my grandma would be bored riding that. These are the typical things that get brought up when talking about the Kawasaki Ninja 250, or even with the newer Ninja 300. The 300 has slightly more power and is much more modern, but for the purpose of this video, I'll include the Ninja 300 in the conversation because most sport bike riders see both the 250 and 300 as severely underpowered. Now, although my grandma still does have her motorcycle license, I highly doubt that she would be bored riding a Ninja 250, and neither should you. There's a whole lot more to riding than just the horsepower alone. So let's get this out of the way. According to the most reliable source in the world, Google, the Ninja 250 makes a claimed 33 horsepower, while the Ninja 300 makes 39 horsepower. That is almost nothing when you look at any of today's 600cc sport bikes, which all produce well north of 100 horsepower. But therein lies the problem that the Ninja 250 gets compared to super sports. It's not. It's a sporty bike, sporty looking, sporty feeling. It's light so it handles corners pretty well, but it's certainly not meant to be a blistering race machine. It's like comparing a Mazda Miata to a Porsche 911. If given the opportunity, just about everyone would choose the Porsche. When it comes to performance, looking cool, impressing your friends, all that other stuff, yeah, it makes sense. But how many of those people would truly be able to extract the performance that Porsche has to offer? If you're Valentino Rossi, you can go ahead and click off this video. But if you're with the vast majority of riders, like myself, who are incapable of extracting every ounce out of a race machine, I'm willing to bet that the Ninja 250 not only might fit you better, but would teach you a lot more about riding than the 600cc or liter bikes would. Back to the Miata versus 911 example. While the Miata is a much easier car to drive, especially for those without experience, there is still a lot to be learned from it. I've spent many years racing go-karts and spec Miata, and I can tell you that there is so much to be learned from a machine that requires you to pull out every bit of performance that it has to offer. With the Miata, there's no masking poor driving ability with a heavy right foot connected to a powerful engine. When you screw up, you and everyone else know it from the beginning of the straight until the very end of it. And if you aren't able to properly handle the measly 116 crank horsepower that a 1.6 liter NA Miata has to offer, you sure as hell won't be able to control and extract performance from a fire-breathing Porsche that's trying to kill you every second. The same exact point can be made about the Ninja 250. Use of proper braking and cornering technique does not magically appear when you hop on a new bike. In fact, riding the smaller, lighter Ninja 250 will ease you into these techniques, while still allowing for gradual improvement over a long course of time. And for certain scenarios, like the necessity to keep the engine in the proper rev range, the Ninja 250 has the potential to teach you more than his bigger brothers could. What is amazing to me is that even after driving cars much faster than Miatas, when I come back to my spec Miata, I can still learn, grow, and progress in my technique as a driver. The same can be said about the Ninja 250. A more experienced rider will be able to toss around their 600 with relative ease, yet can still hop on the little 250 and learn a thing or two. And even if you are very experienced on motorcycles, the 250s are just so much fun. No, really. Wring their necks and go absolutely nowhere. Rev the ever-living life out of them and have a smile on your face the entire time without even breaking the speed limit. They are so nimble, so light, and tossing them around is ridiculously fun and easy to learn. And when you're done hammering on your little machine, you can cruise comfortably back home because they sure do sit more comfortably than a super sport. At the end of the day, your ego will probably tell you that you have zero reason for an undersized bike, which, coming from a 600cc rider myself, is very understandable and relatable. But I cannot stress this enough. Don't let your ego or your friends get in the way of you having fun and finding your true love. Find your happiness on what you like, regardless how it looks or how it seems. You might just find what you were missing out on all along. Wait, are we still talking about bikes? In all seriousness, regardless of what you ride, just get out there and have fun.